in John Schneider you should trust.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if you had to name a general manager in the NFL that was expert at choosing players for the style of play that they put out on the field for their coach, Pete Carroll, it's John Schneider and the Seahawks. Do they know how to draft for what they want to do? And what's kind of amazing is I remember a Thursday night in Seattle. I think it was 2011, because I think it was the Dream Team Eagles and Andy Reid coming west. And they kind of started talking about not putting East Coast teams on the road in West Coast time zone spots on a Thursday night. It's kind of a significant disadvantage to do
Rich,
that.
your memory is amazing. That is week 13,
Yes.
2011.
I believe it was. And we had a tough time figuring out who's the star of the game we want to come to the set. We asked for Marshawn Lynch. He said no. And after that, we're just like, okay, we'll take the coach, because we couldn't figure it out. This is pre-Russell Wilson. And we're like, I do believe I asked Pete Carroll, what's the identity of this team? Because we didn't know. They were still forming it. And I forget what his answer was, probably because we were being pelted by Skittles the entire interview.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch had a $148, 2 tutties.
We wanted him, and he said no.
Tavares Jackson, the quarterback from
That's,
Seattle.
again,
Rest in peace.
pre-Russ.
Yeah.
We were wondering, what's the identity? Is it on defense? What's your identity? Now you know what their identity is. Their identity is
Always compete.
Always compete. When Pete Carroll last night was asked by everyone after the game about, Jamal Adams, and he's asked all the time about injuries. And then certainly when Lisa Salter spoke to him during the game last night about Jamal Adams as well. And he's just like, yeah, feel bad for him, but, next man up, like we're ready to go. And then Geno Smith goes down. He goes up to Drew Lock and taps him on the chest, and you hear Aikman and Buck say, we spoke to him about Drew Lock during, our pre-broadcast meetings, and he's like, he's ready to go. He's always ready to go. They have full confidence in him, because Pete's always about the always compete. Next man up, the guy second, third on the depth chart is ready to go, because it's your opportunity. No panic, no nothing.
Yep.
No, like the season's lost, everything's over. That's why they lose their 2 tackles, and then suddenly they win 3 in a row. And then their identity is lowering the boom on defense, a.k.a. Legion of Boom. And, man, do they have this kid in Devon Witherspoon. Everybody was talking about him at the draft as the best defensive player in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Got to go get him. And 5th overall, Jalen Carter was on the board. It would have been interesting if Anthony Richardson was sitting out there, but he wasn't. And the guy whose numbers, are the mirror opposite of the 12s, he is going to be a popular dude in the Pacific Northwest. Mm-hmm. He can close. He lays the wood. He jumps routes. We saw it all last night. Yeah. And they were just scratching the surface.
He was in his bag last night.
And again, so the first 3 weeks, he was hurt. He was banged up. Then he gets out. He's learning his way. And then Monday night, lights go on. Oh, my goodness. See ya. House call, whole business. And then on offense, obviously, you hit people in the mouth. Walker and Charbonnet are a pretty damn good 1-2 young punch. And then you want to talk about physical wide receivers. Our friend who eats tons of candy, DK Metcalf, another touchdown. Tyler Lockett's gonna do his thing. Kind of wild that Jackson Smith-Njigba has really done very little so far.
Much. Yeah, not much.
And he is supremely talented.
Yep. Just think they still have that weapon they haven't utilized yet.
They haven't even scratched the surface there. Yeah. And he's going to have a Witherspoon moment coming.
Oh, most def.
So, and then they got a bunch of tight ends that you don't draft in fantasy because you have no idea which one's going to have a night. And then Noah Fant tiptoes down the sideline. Another guy Lock to Fant
From the
and
trade.
Witherspoon.
Yeah.
That's 2 touchdowns last night from the Russell Wilson trade.
Oh, yeah.
He just looked
Another
like he was
John
going to run
Schneider
out of
special.
bounds on that play, too.
Right.
It was just like,
was like,
Gino
what's going
dumped
on?
it. He's going out of bounds. Wait, I'm going to keep running, and now I'm scoring.
Lock to Fant, 2 players they got
Yeah.
in the Russell Wilson trade, and then the final first round draft choice they get from Russ. Boom. Witherspoon. So, in John Schneider, you trust, man. And Pete, man, he's got a Hall of Fame resume. There's just no other way to put it. He wins another one, that's a wrap. That is a wrap. Everybody thought, he's just escaping USC, getting out of there before things got hot.
Well, he did do that.
Okay, and then he gets there. Well, I mean, that's what they thought. He's just going to the pros just to do it.
Right.
And now he's the most tenured coach in the NFC. And because Sean Payton's gone.
He's got to be the third longest, right? Behind
Belichick
Bill and
and
Tomlin.
Tomlin and Bill, right? I think Reed has not been
Andy Reid
in
was
Kansas City
was
as long.
2013. This is year 10 or 11 for Andy.
Yeah.
So.
Look at the rest of the conference. He is the dean of the NFC. Who'd have thunk it?
Wow.
And then let's see what Seattle can do from here on out. Their next game, they're on a bye. They're at Cincinnati. Look out, Joe Burrow. I mean, come on. He better start getting around. And then they got home games against Arizona, Cleveland, at Baltimore. How fun is that going to be? Home for Washington. Their second game against the Rams. They had to win that one last night. Otherwise, they'd have been in third place because the Rams had the same record at 2-2 had they lost. And they've already beaten them. And then the 3-week stretch that starts Thanksgiving night that I cannot wait for. Home for San Francisco on Thanksgiving night before visiting Dallas the Thursday after a full week of rest for Amazon Prime's Week 13 kickoff Prime Video right here on Roku. And then at San Francisco. And then home for Philadelphia. That's the 4-week stretch. Wow. That's where rubber will meet the road here for the Seahawks in 2023. So, there's that. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.